Hey, so I'm going to cover, I'll go quick, kind of make up some time because Bradley did cover the SEO Shield last week. And I'll share my screen here. Let me know when you guys see it. Let's see, screen 2, share.
I can see it.
Okay, so you see like money site and the mind map basically?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a real simplified picture of what the SEO Shield is. And I'm going to kind of use analogies to help to paint the picture for people. Similar to holistic marketing, where Bradley's saying he's following people around so they get to know the brand and they start to trust the brand. Google, in a way, is no different than us. It's just a computer that's been programmed to follow entities around the web, and then they start to trust a brand, right? So your brand here is kind of represented by your money site and your GMB. And I'm going to expand these two just a little bit so you can kind of get an idea of what goes into just building your kind of your SEO armor, is what I like to call it, before you even go out and start with anything else. But these are like your first steps. So with the money site and your GMB, let's see, reveal that and that. Oh, good Lord, come on, Santa. So on your money site, you're going to want to make sure you got your services. You're going to make sure that your site's siloed out. You're going to have your schema. You're going to, dial in your on page and those type of things, just to set the framework for your site to then set the brand. So when Google lands on your money site, or a client or a customer lands on your money site, they don't land there and then think, what the heck is this, right? You want to have a good place for them to land, similar to a landing page. Same with your GMB. So you've got all these different pieces, and maybe I'm saying it's feeling a little friendly. So this mind map may find its way to some people's mailboxes. Let's just put it that way, so you don't have to try to see it all. And so basically with your Google business, you want to fill that out to as thorough as possible with your service areas, your different categories. You want to do posts, get everything that Google allows you to do. You want to do it. They don't put it there inadvertently by accident. There's a reason they do it, and they enjoy keeping people in their ecosystem. And the more that you work in their ecosystem, the more they'll reward you. Okay, so I'm going to kind of shrink these down because, again, that's kind of the foundation, but I'm just setting the framework for what I'm getting ready to talk about. So the SEO Shield is these tier 1 properties that we build. Basically, it's like step 1 for every project that we have. And I'll start here with the syndication network and work my way around clockwise, or at least clockwise on my screen. I don't know how sure it's looking on the video, but with syndication network, and then the RYS stack builds with it, ID page builds off of that. So they all interlink and build together. So the first one is, you guys, I'm sure, have heard of syndication networks. That's nothing new. And this isn't all that you can do. This is just kind of visual representation of, you're basically claiming your digital footprint. You're claiming your billboards, so to speak, out on the web of different places where your brand's mentioned. It's your social networks. It's got your name, address, phone number, description, right? And how we build these MGYB is then we interlink all these as well, so that they're all building each other up and building kind of like a web of your brand presence through the network, right? And then the next one that we add is the RYS stack, which I'm sure people have heard of that. And there's a lot of them out on the web, right? And a lot of places you can go get them, but none of them are done as thorough as what we do at Semantic Mastery and MGYB. So again, this is just a visual representation. This doesn't take into account everything that goes on. I'm going to have a mind map at the end that kind of tries to at least paint a picture of what actually all is going on, but it gets so busy, it's hard to keep up with. But this is then we're just stacking all the Google properties in a drive stack, right? We're using the Google Sites, we're using Forms, Docs, Drawings, My Maps, all those different pieces. And then we're embedding them across each other and also interlinking them in what we call a spider silo, right? A little bit different than what you hear on web pages where people like to keep their silos real tight. Inside Google, things are a little different, right? They don't follow the same rules. So we interlink all these properties. So as you build one up, it starts building them all up. And we're interlinking them with tons of keywords, and we just stuff keywords in there. So not only are you claiming more digital footprint of your brand, now you're starting to inject a bunch of keyword relevance, right? So between those two, you're getting now footwork of you're claiming your digital presence on the web, and you're also building keyword relevance. And then the third piece, if you order the Power Shield, is the ID page, which entity loop is what we call it. It kind of got the ID page because Schema uses the add ID is the actual node identifier for where this ID page is located. We currently use S3 buckets to host our ID page. It's a simple HTML document. It's no different. It's just a simple HTML form. So it's a single page website. And what we do there is we start to embed the files from your Drive stack. So your Google sites, we link to your syndication networks. We add schema to your ID page that mirrors your money site and the information on your syndication networks. We embed the press advantage, which I'll get to that here in a second. Pearl trees. So we start to now interlink all these different trusted properties on the web. So you're almost building, as you can see, the reason I set up like this, you're starting to build this circle or a shield all the way around your website and your money site with your GMB that insulates you from Google updates and penalties. And just, Google's constantly changing, right? They try to make this SEO game crazy. And this is a way where a lot of times, we kind of joke about, but people come and ask, well, what happened in the latest update? Or did you guys, any of your sites get hit with the latest update? And normally that's the first time I ever hear about an update. And then I go check and be like, no, I still don't see anything, right? Because we're being insulated by the way we built this. So the fourth one that we add into this is Pearl trees, which Pearl trees is another just kind of a hub that we start to collect all these different properties and interlink them so that now you're building just kind of this web interlinking across all these sites that encircle your money site and your assets online. And then the fifth part that we use that if you order from MGYB, you get all 5 of these. If you get the Power Shield, is the Press Advantage organization page, right? So Press Advantage is a highly trusted tier 1 asset. It's a press release distribution system center. They have an organization page on there, which is perfect for putting your organization. Makes complete sense. You can add the schema, which then is mirroring the schema that's in the ID page. It's mirroring the schema that's on your money site. It's mirroring the categories that you've selected in your Google My Business, right? On the Press Advantage page, you can also embed the money site onto that page. So now you're iframing it. So then the juice through there is also passing back to your money site. There's a links from the organization page to your money site. We embed the GMB map. So now you're passing power into your map for the Google My Business. And then you can embed some of your main social profiles. I think it's Twitter and Facebook are the two of the bigger ones. So now you can have those. And you're basically just building this huge digital presence that Google can now see, and they start to trust your brand, right? And I kind of use this as an analogy. Let's say that your money site is just some new restaurant in a town, right? When a new restaurant opens up, to everybody in that town, it's basically, there's another building where they serve food, right? That's kind of like what a site is to Google. Okay, there's a new site with some information on it. Sounds good, right? But as Google is crawling the web and they're constantly gathering information, and it's just a huge relational database, they're trying to gather information about your site, and you help them by first getting your on-page good, so there's no confusion there. And then they start to find on these syndication networks or these hubs of social profiles out there, they start to find this same business listed there on these trusted sites that are all interlinking, and they all have the exact same information. So that kind of ups the trust. Similar to if you're in town and there's a new restaurant, now you start seeing ads for the restaurant, and you start seeing in social places people talking about the restaurant. It builds trust for you to go try out the restaurant. No different. Now it's starting to build trust for Google to think, okay, let me start to show this money site to people to see how they interact. And then they go and, we send them through the Drive stack, and they start to now see all these keywords, and they start building relevance about, okay, so now I'm starting to see what this website's about, similar to a menu at a restaurant. Man, look at all they serve. Look at all the services, all the things that they have, right? That's kind of what that Drive stack's doing. And then we interlink all those together with the ID page, which is basically just, it's a hub that collects all this information at one spot that links to you, right? And we interlink all those together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this to, I got one more here that I can kind of, so this is very similar, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through these. So the syndication network looks about the same, but now if I extend the ROS stack, okay, you see how these are starting to link together, right? I didn't draw all the links. Now I'm going to extend the ID page. Okay, now you start to see how the ID page is connected to the stack. I'm gonna do Perl trees. Now you're starting to see, okay, now wait a minute, these are all starting to connect and it's forming even a link circle around our site here. Now I'm gonna do press advantage. Let's expand that, all right? So now you can see, okay, now I'm starting to see how all this stuff links together. But watch what happens when you extend the money site and the GMB. Okay, now you're starting to see how all this interlinks. And you can see now you just have this huge web of basically information that's all mirroring, interlinking, all your brand, all consistent. And Google's building this huge relational database that basically looks like this to them. And they see all these sites around it pointing to your money site, which starts to then build the trust and the authority to your site, which helps it rank and insulates.
Semantic relationships.
Yeah, you're just making relationships between all these things. And then the next step to that is you start, loading it up with power. You power up all these tier 1 entities, and you just now all that power flows through all those links. So it's hard to see here, but the red are links, green are embeds, blue is the mirroring, and it starts to just now power up all the things around it, which then in turns lifts up the whole thing at once. So you're basically raising the whole ship instead of one individual site.
I want one. I definitely want one.
That's it in a quick nutshell. There's a lot more in there. This one that's real busy on the screen right now, that's probably only a third of the interlinking that goes on. But when I tried to add it all, it basically just looked like a big wash of lines. So
Looked like a ball of yarn.
Exactly, which is exactly what you're doing. You're building a big ball of yarn of relationships that Google's putting in their database.
That's awesome.
Hey, Rob,
Yep.
one, that's awesome. Two questions. One,
Yep.
you mentioned Santa might be able to get this to people. How can people get their hands on this mind map?
I'll get it together and we'll either send it out on email or we'll post it in the groups or we'll figure out a way. We'll post it all over the place.
All right,
I probably won't send this one out because this one's a little too confusing.
Put a link to it on the SEO Shield page in MGYB.
Will do. Perfect.
Sounds good. So yeah, you guys heard it. If you're not a subscriber, head over to Semantic Mastery or MGYB, sign up. That'll be the easiest way to get that. And, Rob, you hit on something that I think is really important, and that, a lot of, whether you're doing this for your own projects or you're doing this as an agency, I think that you touched on something that, people should know. Like you said, it's not a joke when you said, oh, there's been an update. I literally didn't know it, but somebody told me about it. And I think that that's really important that people know, like, this is part of why we wanted you to talk about this, was moving forward now and into 2020 and beyond, that, this allows you to do like that, to, set this up and to drive a lot of power, get a lot of great results, but not be sweating and be like, shit, what update's happening? What's going on? Right.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I mean. We've got DC Plumber as an example. We've got the SEO Virginia. We've got several others that we won't name because they're actually live for clients and different people. But normally, as soon as somebody says, oh, there's an update, my sites are tanking, I go check all those and I'm not impacted. I don't see anything. And I check my other personal stuff, not impacted and don't see anything. And it's basically because I set up this framework, right? And then you just start powering up the tier 1s and you're never driving stuff directly to your money site.
Well, cool. If anyone wants to find out more, we do have a special going on through MGYB. You can go to mgyb.co/Christmas on the power shields, as well as some of the components if you just need the pieces. And there's a very special offer coming through Dedia, who we mentioned, the master link builder at the beginning. Let me see if I get this right, Rob. He offered to double any link building packages that are purchased through the Christmas special, right? So you buy it, you use the special code, and he's going to give you double the links, right?
Yes, exactly. So you got to make sure and put your coupon in because it's not coded. So if you pick 3,500 links, it's not going to then show 7,000 when you put your coupon in.
Yeah.
Okay. But as long as you put that coupon in, he knows when that order comes. And if it says double my links or whatever the coupon code is, it's something like that. He knows you ordered 35. He's doubling it as a Christmas bonus to everybody.
Outstanding.